What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys have been doing well. So pretty much what I've got in store for today, I was thinking about this last night. What I'm actually going to try to build is a primitive mud crab trap to catch my own lunch out in the mangroves later on today. Now, if I do manage to pull this off, this is going to be a miracle because it's hard enough to catch mud crabs on its own. So as you can see, we're not out at the mangroves yet, and the only two things that I've bought to help me build this trap is a knife and a little bit of twine right here. It's early morning at the moment. We're gonna start building this trap, head out to the mangroves, and hopefully catch a couple mud crabs. But before we do that, we need to start gathering resources and getting this trap into shape. So let's start walking up this creek and find some sticks that we can use to build this primitive trap. So we just got all these sticks. This is probably half of what we're actually gonna need, but we're gonna bring it down by the creek and start building this trap. We'll just chuck it down there, gather a few more resources, and then we should be good to go. So we've just gathered all the resources, as you can see behind us right here. Now what we're gonna do now is cut 4 pieces up to size for the base of this crab trap. So we're just gonna cut 4 equal lengths. Should just be able to snap that. Just like that. So this is the third one that we're tying up here. The other 2 are already done. Just need to make sure these are really secure so that these don't come undone and the crabs can get out. So what we're going to do now is just stack it up. So it's definitely not finished, but it's starting to take that crab pot shape. So now I'm just going to secure the sides on. So this is how much of the trap that we've actually built so far, and pretty much the idea of a crab pot is we're going to put bait inside of it, and the crabs are going to smell that, feel their way around the outside of the pot until they find this little entrance right here. So we've tied 2 sticks up so that it can get through, and hopefully it won't be able to get out, but I think I'm going to keep a good eye on this crab pot. I don't think it's something you'd want to leave overnight, but just for a couple hours, and if we keep a good eye on it, we can see the crabs going in catch them in the crab pot, and then go cook them up later. That's the theory anyway. So what we're gonna do now, whack a roof on it, and then it should be good to go. I'm gonna position the roof on top of it when I'm down in the mangrove so that I have easy access if a crab does end up going in there. If this works out, this is gonna be the craziest thing ever. Now I'm calling this trap primitive in theory, but obviously I did use rope. Now you could use vine, but I didn't have time to do that today. But there are a few substitutes that you can use if you wanna make some primitive rope in the wild, and I'll show you that right now. So this lamandra, or more commonly known as mat rush, fold it in half, twist it up, and then wrap it around. And you just keep doing that. And when I'm saying this stuff literally grows everywhere, you find it in every single creek system across the east coast of Australia. So you can see that's taken about 30 seconds just to do that. And you can make meters of this stuff. And this is what I normally use when I'm going full primitive. So if you want to see that sometime, I'll have to come back out here with absolutely nothing, no knife, build a trap like this, because it is definitely possible. So I say what we do now, take this primitive crab pot out to the mangroves and hopefully catch some big muddies. So, I'll chuck that down there. We just made it out to the mangroves here. If you watched my last mud crab video that I actually filmed in this place, you would know what a journey it is to get out here. We have to walk 3 kilometers through the mud, through the mangroves with all those mozzies. I picked up this servo mullet right here. So what I'm gonna do, tie it in there. If you watch my last video where I came out to these mangroves, I caught some massive mud crabs with my bare hands, and I'll show you the clips of that right now. That is the huge, look at that, just sitting under that log right there. That is the biggest mud crab I have ever seen. Wow, you don't want to get bitten by one like that. All right, look at him, trying to go me right now. Come on. Oh. Oh, nearly got me. He's kind of like wedged himself under there. I'll get a stick. Come on, out of there, buddy. Look at that. And that right there, oh, watch out, don't want him to get me. That right there is a massive Australian mud crab. Look at the size of that claw right there. No, oh. But they have this really hard shell at the back here. That's what gives them the protection. And what they'll do is every now and then, how they grow and get bigger is they'll go through a stage called molting. This would be a very old crab. And when they go through this molting stage for a certain period of time, once they shed that old shell off, their new shell will actually be really soft. Like you can literally push it in. And what will happen is the other mud crabs will actually hunt the mud crabs, and they're actually cannibalistic. They'll eat the other mud crabs when they go through this molting stage. So just to show you how well these mud crabs can actually hide themselves, if I didn't see him before, I would have just thought this was a stingray or something. But he is right around here somewhere. I think that might be his claws at the front. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at it. Big male. Oh, got your stick. Look at that. He's got my stick right there, but I got him. Look at this. Got this big muddy right here, and this stingray is just chilling. Look at that, massive muddy and a little stingray. That's pretty cool. So you can see all of this water is just rushing out this way into the main channel right there. So I think what I'm gonna do is bring the crab pot in here. It's gonna be a bit of trouble getting it through all the mangroves, and then set it just out in the water out there. Leave it out there and see if we can catch any muddies. So let's go grab that crab pot.
Instead of around, just go low over here. Oh. See those reeds out there? Just place it out there, do you think? Or?
So what we're gonna do now, it's a pretty heavy crab pot to be honest with you. I'm just gonna truck it just down there in the water like that. So the tide's coming up at the moment, so what's gonna happen is all the mud crabs that are out here on the sand flats are slowly gonna move up into the mangroves. And trust me, when they get a smell of that mullet sitting in there, I don't think that they'll be able to resist it. So you can see the entrance just down at the front there. That's where they're gonna be crawling in. So they can't get in anywhere else. It's pretty sealed up, so that's the plan anyway. So I say we stop disturbing this area, let this crab pot be, and maybe go for a walk through the mangroves and see if we can even catch one with our hands, who knows. Right, so we've been in the mangroves a couple hours now. As you can see, the tide's actually pushing out at the moment. The pot's over there. I have checked it a couple times and there's been absolutely nothing in it. Nothing's touched it. But we've left it a whole tide, so the tide's come up into the mangroves. And I'm hoping that a crab has pushed out with the tide, smelled that mullet inside the pot and gone into it. I've literally walked through all of these mangroves and haven't found one legal mud crab. Seen a couple smaller ones, but we don't want them.
All right, the bigger dream is there. In
We got a crab. Look at it. That's a mud crab. Fingers crossed that it is a male. Oh, take a look at that. He's an aggressive one. Right, let's take the top off of it. You can see he's had a bit of a chew at that mullet right there. But yeah, let's get him out and see if he's legal. This pile of sticks that I whacked together this morning has got a mud crab. Take a look at that. Ready? Whoa. We'll pick him up. And take a look at that right there. A big male mud crab in the primitive crab trap. Whoa, take a look at that. He's an aggressive one. Ready? Watch him grab hold of that. He will literally hold himself up like that.
Nice.
Probably shouldn't have done that. But take a look at the size of that claw right there and that claw right there, but still well over 15 centimeters. We'll cook this claw up too. Just because he dropped it doesn't mean you can't eat it still. But how good is that? A big mud crab in the primitive crab trap. He must have only just got in there, eh? Whoa, that was close. Take a look at that, he's aggressive. That hit just above this claw right here that I had my hand in. Well, let's be real right here, this trap is dodgy as. Honestly, I don't feel like you could leave it here overnight because the crabs would find a way out of it eventually. To think that I can turn a bunch of sticks into this mud crab right here is literally just unbelievable. Came up with an idea in my head of how I could build this trap and it actually worked right there. But if you do think about it, it's kind of the same as a crab pot, just a lot worse. But we timed it perfectly, so what would have happened is when we set this trap, the tide was coming up. So all the mud crabs get pushed up in the mangroves, and what they're doing up there is they're feeding. And as the tide pushes out, these mud crabs would have come out with it, smelt that mullet, and this guy would have came straight out of the mud flats, and look, gone right in that hole, right there. Now, you're not allowed to have fires in these mangroves here in Australia, so what I'm gonna do is head to a different place where we can set up a fire and cook up this big buck right here. How good is that? Big muddy.
Those sticks you got a bit green.
So we just set up the fire and made it back down to the creek that we actually built the crab trap at earlier this morning. And this is the big muddy that we caught. I might not have sounded too excited when I got it, but trust me, I was frothing. I'm just so tired. We woke up so early this morning, built this trap all day, and then went down to those mangroves, carried the whole trap all the way through the mangroves. But trust me, I was so excited when I got this muddy right here. Now we're gonna cook it up. So we're not actually gonna boil it this time. I'm just gonna rip it apart and then chuck it in sections in the fire. So this is how you do it. Just grab top of the shell, rip it off just like that. snap it in half and just clean out all those filters and all that orange stuff inside there, so you're left with the meat. There we go, there's one side done. And that's the side that's missing the claw. Alright, there we go. They're looking good. Now we'll just wait for this fire to die down to coals. So literally about a minute after I cleaned that crab out in the water, I had my feet just dangling over the side and something bit my toe. I was like, what's that? Look down and there's two little eels, probably about a foot long each, just sitting here and eating the crab that I chucked in the water. So I got the GoPro underwater and I was even lucky enough to just give one some food and hand feed it. They're so chill. But yeah, we're just waiting for the fire to die down into coals. And then we'll chuck these crabs in and cook them up. I'm pretty keen to eat them. I haven't eaten anything all day. So it's mostly coals at the moment. So what I'm gonna do, chuck this one just down on top and look at it start to turn red almost instantly. Just like that. A couple more minutes on that side and then it'll be good to go. So we're just gonna get it out at the moment. I'll just get it up out of the fire. Chuck it over here, and while I'm letting that one cool down, we'll chuck this one straight back in two pieces, but that's all right. Just gonna crack it open, but you can see all that in there is meat. I've never tried it cooked like this before, so it'll be interesting to see. So I got this mandarin here. I'm gonna chop it in half and put it on my crab. So I'll just chuck it all over it. Can't get much better than that.
Seafood is the worst food poisoning you can get.
Thanks for letting me know. So cool coming out here this morning, not knowing if I'm actually going to catch a crab, and then catch it. Oh, I just tipped juice all over me. I must have caught the single dumbest crab in Australia. I can't even catch them in normal crab pots, let alone in primitive ones. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this video. A huge thank you to all the new subscribers on my channel, and of course the ones who have been here from the beginning. You guys are all absolute legends, and I'm so lucky that I can come out here, think of these video ideas, put them into action, and it's even better when you guys enjoy them, comment down below and everything. So yeah, let me know where you're from and the kind of things that you get up to in your area, what animals you find, if you've made similar traps like this and caught whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much. Go chuck us a follow on Instagram if you like that kind of stuff. Post a heap of different photos and videos over there. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you again next Saturday in the next adventure.